So you are on a good Wi-Fi. The plan says 300 megabits per second, which is genuinely fast. And you tap one thing in an app and it still spins. And I think we have all just kind of accepted this, right? Fast internet, slow page. But if you stop and actually think about it, that is a weird thing. The pipe is huge, 300 megabits. So why is one little request taking almost a second to come back? The pipe is not full. So what are we even waiting for? And here is the thing that fixed this for me. The word fast is hiding two completely different questions. One is, how long did this one request take? The other is, how many requests can we finish every second? These two are not the same. They are not even measured in the same unit. And almost every the system is slow confusion comes from mixing them up. And honestly, once this clicks, you kind of stop saying just make it faster at all. You start asking which fast, which weight are we cutting, or which bottleneck are we widening. But I am getting ahead of myself, so let us build it properly from one request. Okay, so at high level, we said fast is hiding two questions. Let us actually name them. The first one, how long did this one request take? That is called latency. Latency is just the time for one request to go out and come back, start to finish. We measure it in milliseconds, thousandths of a second. So this request took 120 milliseconds. That is the latency. The second one, how many per second? That is throughput. Throughput is how many requests does the system finish every second? Not one, the whole crowd. We measure it in request per second. The system handles 500 requests per second. That is throughput. So one is a time and one is a rate. Already not the same thing, right? And honestly, the cleanest way I have to picture this is a road. Think about one car driving from here to the server and back. How long that one car takes? The full trip. That is latency. Now, throughput is how many cars finish the trip every second. And here is why they come apart. Let us say we widen the road. One lane becomes 4. Now, many cars finish per second. Throughput goes up. But that one car we were watching, it still has to drive the whole distance. Its trip time did not change at all. More lanes moved more cars. It did not teleport one car. That is the whole idea right there. Lanes are throughput. The trip is latency. You can pour on lanes and the single trip does not get one bit shorter. And once you see it, you notice systems living at both extremes. A search suggestion box, one search comes back in maybe 80 milliseconds. Really low latency, feels instant. But that same little service might only handle 50 searches a second total. Low latency, low throughput. Now flip it. Think of a busy restaurant kitchen. One burger takes, say, 8 minutes to come out. That is the latency. And it is honestly kind of slow. But that kitchen might push out 300 burgers an hour. Huge throughput as well. One order's weight versus how much the whole kitchen can pump out. Two completely different numbers. So, which one is faster? Neither. It is a wrong question. It totally depends which one you actually care about. So, latency is the trip, throughput is the traffic. Keep those two apart, and honestly, the rest of the video is just watching which of them moves. Okay, so latency and throughput, but there is a third number people jam into the same word, fast. And it is the one on your internet bill, bandwidth. Bandwidth is the capacity of the pipe, the most data the link could carry per second, the 300 megabits. And the natural assumption is bigger pipe, everything faster. But no. And let me show you exactly where that breaks. Let us send a small response, say 5 kilobytes of data, a little chunk of JSON. JSON is just a plain text way to package data. We saw it in the last video. On a 10 megabit link, that comes down in about 4 milliseconds. Now put it on a link that is 10 times bigger, 100 megabits. Now it takes zero point 0.4 milliseconds. So we made the pipe 10 times bigger and saved 3 point something milliseconds. Basically nothing. You would never feel it. Now send a big thing, a 10 megabyte image on the 10 megabit link. That is about 8 seconds. Painful, right? But bump the pipe to 100 megabits. Now it is 0.8 seconds. The big pipe actually helped. We saved 7 whole seconds that you would definitely feel. So here is the rule, and it's a good one to keep. Bandwidth moves bytes. A wider pipe helps when the problem is a lot of bytes, a big file, a video, a download. But a small chatty request, it barely has any bytes. The weight is not the bytes, the weight is the back and forth trips. And a wider pipe does not remove a single trip. Bandwidth moves bytes, round trip costs time. And if you want the cleanest proof that these two are not the same, satellite internet. A satellite gives you plenty of bandwidth, easily enough for 4K video, but it is sitting about 36,000 kilometers up. So your signal has to travel all the way up and back down twice. Once for your ask, once for the answer coming back. And light only travels so fast. That is the hard limit of the universe. So the round trip lands around 500 to 600 milliseconds every single time. And here is the important part. You could buy infinite bandwidth, and that 600 milliseconds does not move at all. It was never a bandwidth problem. It is distance. No pipe beats physics. So, bandwidth is a third number. And the big correction is bandwidth is not the same as latency. Widening the pipe does nothing for a request that is just waiting on trips. So, when someone says just get more bandwidth, the honest question is, are we even bandwidth bound? Because a lot of the time we are not. Okay, so we keep saying one request takes 120 milliseconds, like it is one number, but it is not one wait. It is a whole stack of little waits, one after another. Let me pull the last video's request card back up and just stretch the timeline under it. So we tap the item. First, the browser has to look up the address, that is DNS, and that is a little round trip on its own. Then it opens the connection, TCP, and then it sets up the padlock, TLS. We did all of this in the last two videos, right? But here is the thing I did not fully feel back then. Every one of those is a wait, and they all land inside your latency. Only after all that setup does the actual request go out. Sit in a queue at the server for a moment. The server does its work, maybe hits a database, and then the first byte comes back. And if you add it up, the DNS, the connect, the padlock, the request, the little queue, the server work, the response, a good chunk of that 290 milliseconds got spent before the server even started doing anything useful. It is all setup and travel. Now, here is the nice part. That setup, DNS, TCP, TLS, we mostly pay it once. The connection stays open. So the second request to the same server skips the whole setup, around 140 milliseconds of it, and drops from 290 down to about 150. This is the whole reason a fresh, cold connection feels slow, and everything after feels snappy. The first one paid the setup for everybody. One quick term you will hear a lot, TTFB, time to first byte. That is just from the moment you asked to the moment the first byte of the answer shows up. But do not confuse it with page speed. First byte is not the finished page. After that byte, you might still wait on the rest of the response, images, scripts. TTFB is the start of the answer, not the end. So, latency is a stack of waits, not one wait, and that actually matters because to make a request faster, you do not just say make it faster. You look at the stack and ask which wait am I cutting? The setup, move closer or reuse the connection. The server work, that is a different fix. Same word, slow, totally different levers. Which wait? Okay, here is a trap I fell straight into. One request takes 200 milliseconds. So the system can do 5 per second, right? 1 over zero point 0.2 is 5. Done. And that is completely wrong. But it is a really natural mistake. So let us walk it. Because who said we do them one at a time? We can have 100 requests in flight at the same moment, and all 100 still take 200 milliseconds each. The latency of any one did not change one bit. But now, 100 of them are finishing in roughly the same window. So the throughput is not 5 per second, it is more like 500. The number of requests happening at once. We call that concurrency. That is the lever. So throughput is not just 1 over latency, roughly. In a steady state, it is concurrency over latency. And that is a genuinely important one to sit with. You can rise throughput a lot, 5 to 500, without making any single request 1 millisecond faster. You just ran more of them side by side. Now, where does that concurrency come from? Usually workers. And a worker is just one process on the server that handles requests one at a time. Let me switch to a round number here so the next bit is easy to see. Say one worker can clear 20 requests a second. Add 10 workers. And yeah, roughly 200 a second. More workers, more throughput. But, and this is the catch, those 10 workers might all be talking to one database. And let us say that database can only handle 100 a second. So what actually happens? The app workers are free, they are ready, but requests pile up waiting for the database. And the whole system's throughput is stuck at 100 a second, not 200. It does not matter how fast the fastest part is. The throughput is capped by the slowest part, the bottleneck. Adding more workers past that point does nothing. You just make a longer line in front of the database. So, throughput comes from doing many at once and it is capped by your bottleneck. And notice, we still not have made one request faster. We have been growing throughput this whole section while latency sat perfectly still. Hold on to that because next is where it all goes wrong at the same time. Okay, let us really slow down for this one because this is the part that took me the longest to actually feel. We have a server that can handle 100 requests a second. That is the capacity. And let us slowly turn up how many requests are arriving. At 50 a second, half capacity, everything is calm. A request comes in, waits basically no time, gets served. Latency is, let's say, 20 milliseconds. Push it to 90 a second, still under capacity. But now, requests are arriving almost as fast as we can clear them. So a little line forms. Latency creeps up, maybe 100 milliseconds. Now 99 a second, 1 under capacity. And watch this. The line does not grow a little, it explodes. Latency shoots to around 1000 milliseconds, a full second. And here is the part I really want you to get. If you think about it properly, it is genuinely counterintuitive. The server did not get slower, it is doing each request at the exact same speed it always did. So, where did that second come from? It came from waiting in line. When work arrives almost as fast as you can clear it, every new request has to sit behind all the ones already waiting. The service did not slow down. The queue in front of it blew up. That is the whole thing. And now look at what this does to your dashboard. Because this is where it gets sneaky. Throughput reads 99 out of 100. That looks great, looks efficient, looks like you are using the machine well. Somebody glancing at that graph says we are fine. But on average, users are now waiting close to a full second. The system feels completely broken, and the throughput graph looks perfectly healthy. Latency broke long before throughput even flinched. And this flips something people believe that running a server at 100% is efficient. For a system serving real users, it is the opposite. That last little bit of headroom in the slack, that is not waste, that is exactly what absorbs a burst without the line exploding. The exact formula for the cliff is not the point. Queuing theory is a whole thing. The shape is the point. Push toward full, and latency does not rise gently, it falls off a cliff. So, the queue is where latency hides. The next time something feels slow, but the load looks fine, do not trust the throughput number. Look for the line, because the machine was never the slow part. The weight in front of it was. Okay, so we know latency for one request, but a real system serves millions of requests, all with different latencies. So, how do we talk about the latency? And the obvious answer is take the average, right? That is what I reached for, honestly. Average it. Put it on a dashboard, done. But this is where a lot of people get tricked, myself included, because the average hides something. Let me show you exactly what. Let us say we measure 100 requests, 95 of them come back in 100 milliseconds, nice and fast. 4 of them take a full second, and one of them takes 10 seconds. Something got stuck. Now, average all 100 together, you get about 235 milliseconds. And 235 milliseconds looks totally fine. You would ship that. You would put it on a dashboard and feel good. But nobody actually experienced 235 milliseconds. Look at it. Almost everyone got 100, and a real slice of people got 1 second or 10 seconds. And they are furious. The average took the fast majority and the slow tail and blended them into one number that describes no one. The average is where slow users disappear. So, this is why real teams do not look at just the average, they also report percentiles. And the word sounds fancy, but the idea is dead simple. You sort every request from fastest to slowest, and you ask, where does the 99th one land? That is your P99. P99 of 1000 milliseconds just means 99 out of every 100 requests came back within 1 second, and the slowest 1% were worse. P50, the median, is the middle one, your typical request. P95 is the 95th. In our example, P50 is 100 milliseconds, P95 is still 100, but 99, the tail, is a full second. The average hid it. The percentile shows it right there. And here is why this is not some rare edge case you can ignore. Let us say you are doing 1000 requests a second and your P99 is that 1 second. That slow 1% is 10 requests every second. 600 a minute. That is a steady stream of real people actually sitting there waiting, not a rounding error. And it gets worse because one web page makes dozens of requests. Remember from the last video? So the odds that at least one of them lands in your slow tail are actually high. So the tail is not rare at all. A lot of your users are sitting right in it. So never trust an average latency by itself. The average is where slow users disappear. And that is why you will always hear people say P95, P99, not because they like fancy numbers, but because somebody is actually sitting in the slow tail. And if you only look at the average, you will never even know they are there. Okay, quick breather because we are about to shift where we are standing. This whole video we have been outside the system, watching users wait. Now let us step inside the server itself because latency is not only user pain, it is also infra pain. And here is why. There is this rule, it is called Little's Law. Forget the name, it just says the number of requests inside your system at any moment equals your throughput times your latency. In-flight equals throughput times latency. Let us make it concrete. Say we are handling 1000 requests a second and each one takes zero point 0.2 seconds. 1000 times zero point 0.2, that is 200 requests inside the system at any given moment. 200 in flight. And each one is holding a little bit of memory, a connection, a thread. A thread is just one lane of work the server can run at a time. Fine. The system carries 200 of those comfortably. Now, latency gets bad. Maybe that queue cliff from a minute ago just hit. And latency goes from zero point 0.2 seconds to 2 seconds, 10 times worse. But the requests are still arriving at 1000 a second. So now 1000 times 2, that is 2000 requests stuck inside the system at once. We did not get more users, the same traffic, but because each request lingers 10 times longer, there are 10 times as many of them trapped inside, all holding memory, all threads and connections. And you can feel where this goes, right? The memory fails, threads run out, and the system starts falling over, which makes it even slower, which traps even more requests inside. That is how a service was just a little slow suddenly takes itself down. The slowness feeds on itself. So, latency is not only about one annoyed user. When the latency rises, work piles up inside the machine. That is why is just a bit slow is never just a bit slow at scale. Slow requests are the requests that do not leave, and requests that do not leave pile up until something breaks. That is the whole reason people take latency so seriously. Okay, so now the toolbox actually makes sense because every fix you have ever heard of is really doing one of the two things. It is either cutting a weight, that is latency fix, or widening a bottleneck, that is a throughput fix. Let us just sort a few. To cut latency, you go after the weights from the stack. Move the server closer to the user so the trips are shorter. That is basically what a CDN does. And we will do a whole video on it. Reuse the connection so you skip the setup. Cut a round trip or cache the answer so you skip the work entirely. All of those are attacking one specific weight. To rise throughput, you go after the bottleneck, add more workers. Or find the slowest part, the database in our example, and widen it. Because remember, nothing else matters until you do. Spread the load across more machines, that is scaling out. And that is a whole topic as well. These do not make one request faster, they let more requests through. And then a few live in the middle. They trade one for another, batching, grouping requests together. That is great for throughput, fewer trips, more work per trip. But the first request in the batch has to wait for the batch to fill. So it adds a little latency. It's a trade. Same with doing work in the background, async. That makes it feel fast to the user. The page comes back right away, but the actual work still happens later. It did not vanish, you just moved when the user waits. And a nice one. So I'm not lying to you that everything is a painful trade off. A cache can genuinely improve both at once. If the answer is already sitting in the cache, that one user gets it instantly, lower latency, and you have never bothered the database. So the database has more room for everyone else. Higher throughput. When a resource is not shared, sometimes you really do get both. The trade off shows up when you start pushing a shared thing to its limit. So the toolbox is not really a list to memorize. It is one question, ask it twice. Which weight am I cutting? That is the latency. Which bottleneck am I widening? That is the throughput. Every real fix is one of these two. Okay, let us pull all the way back. Over these videos, we found the server, opened the connection, wrapped it in the padlock, sent the request, got the answer. We built the whole path. And today, we finally put a timer on it and got the language to actually talk whether it was fast. So carry these out with you. Latency, how long one request takes. Throughput, how many finish per second. Bandwidth, how fat the pipe is. And these are not one thing called fast. They are separate numbers that move separately. A wider pipe does nothing for a chatty request. More workers do nothing for one slow request. And the average latency will hide the users who are actually suffering. So look at P99 and the sneakiest one, the queue. The machine is almost never the slow part. The line in front of it is. So here is one thing I actually want you to leave with. From now on, when someone says the system is slow, do not reach for a bigger machine. That is just the reflex, and it is usually wrong. Instead, ask the two questions this whole video was really about. Is one request waiting too long? Or are too many requests crowding through one bottleneck? Which wait or which bottleneck? Because that one question, that is the difference between guessing and actually knowing what to fix. And honestly, that is where system design starts. And every video after this plugs right into those two numbers. Load balancers spread throughput. CDNs and caches cut latency. Rate limiting protects the queue. You will see it everywhere now. So if you want to keep pulling this thread with me, stick around and subscribe.